welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you the Mercy journal from my Serenity collection, and it's tied with some cotton yarn on here, and it comes with this card with its name on it, so it has Mercy on there, and then it comes with this coin envelope. And here's a little journaling booklet with some vintage papers inside. And then there's a little card here, a little tag that you can journal on. And there's another tag with a verse on there. And then I have some of these labels. These are actually from my Etsy shop. It's a black and white printable, and I thought it worked really well with this. I actually made it for this for the Serenity collection. And then there's another tag and some tickets, and then some tickets from my printable also. This comes with a flower, and it also comes with this little pack of paper, and this paper clip has a little bit of embroidery thread on it and a tiny little charm. And then I have this little pack of papers. So I have this paper doily, blue hand-dyed paper. This is some pretty wallpaper, and then I have some vintage paper right here, and then this is a dictionary page, but it actually has like, it says North America on it, so this was like at the end of a dictionary. I just like that yellowed paper. Okay, this is the Mercy journal. And then there's hand stitching on the side. And then this is the back. There's all this stitching on the back. And I have some vintage netting up here and some vintage lace that I added on there. And then I actually wove through here a piece of vintage fabric. I thought it was really nice detail. And then there's more stitching, and I used different wallpapers on here to just give it some more interest. I'm gonna open it up. And this is the first page. Let's see if you can see that. Okay, so the top here, this is actually a tulle pocket, and it's been hand stitched along the sides, and I have this vintage image of a house. This is actually from a magazine. I just thought that house was so pretty. And so it opens up, and there's journaling space inside. Okay. And so I have a paper doily up there. I have some vintage netting that I cut into a little strip, and I made a bow right there with it. And then this is wallpaper, and then this right here is some vintage lace. Okay, and this here is actually one of my favorite layouts. I have this vintage image, and this is from a vintage magazine that I had, and I cut it out. I really like the picture of the lady and the little girl, and I backed it up with some scrapbook paper, and here I have some of that ribbon at the top, and I have the tag here with the name of the journal, Mercy, and then it's got a little white bird or a dove there, and you can add a date on the back or do some more journaling there. And then here at the bottom I have this image, and again this is from a magazine, and I just thought it was such a pretty art print, and I backed it up with some scrapbook paper. There's some I also have some cardstock underneath there, and then this is a tag I made. This is a tag by Cassie from Dust to Roses, and I just sewed a little ruffle up here, and I tied a little bow, and I put a bold pin right there with some beads and a little charm. And so the back, there's plenty of room for journaling on the back. And so that tucks in right here. And then this is actual scribble paper, and I have a black and white digital, and I printed some French script on here, and I really like the way it looks. I think it looks like newsprint. And so basically it opens up like this, and you can just do some journaling inside. And if you want, you can also do a little bit of collage on the front. So that's kind of, and the back of it, the background paper here is a vintage letter. Okay, here, let's see. Okay, here I have a vintage image, and it's of two little boys just sitting by a lake, and this is actually printed on some tracing paper, and it gives it like such a nice sheer look. Let's see if you can see. And I think it looks so pretty, and I layered it. This is the back of wallpaper, and I liked that yellowed look, so I just used the back of it. And then this here, I really like the texture of the doily. So you know how you get a really large doily? The inside of it, I just kind of tore it out, and I used it because I really like the texture. And then this is just a magazine image of some old script that I thought would look good there. So I just have different papers layered on there. And then I sewed some fabric on here. And this is another image from my Etsy shop. It's a black and white image, and again I printed it on some scribble paper. I actually got that tip from Heather with Ruby and Pearl XO. She actually did a tutorial on how to age papers, and she mentioned that she liked to use scribble paper. So I picked some up, and I really like the way black and white prints on there. It looks so cool and vintage, and it gives it it almost looks like newspaper or newsprint. So I've been using that lately too. Okay, so this is some vintage paper. I have some paper doily up here, and it actually lifts up. So if you wanted to add some collage, if you wanted to do a collage on the back there, you could. Or you can leave it like that. It looks pretty good just like that also. And this is another one of my favorites, actually. I made this tag, and this is a vintage image. I have it layered with just scrapbook paper. This is a vintage check, some cardstock. I have some vintage lace there. This is a vintage letter, and it's all hand stitched. And at the top here, I used some Handmade embossed paper by Heather with Rosehill Paper Cottage, and it looks so pretty on there. I don't know, let's see if you can see it. And then I have a little charm at the top there. And so I'll link all the information below in the description for the paper And so this here is a pocket and some more vintage paper. And then here is this is a vintage book page of a tree blossom, and it lifts up and there's more journaling space on the bottom. And some more of that vintage paper. And now this again is a printable from my shop. It's basically black and white script. And then this here, let's see if you can see that. This is also printable from my shop, but this time I printed it on scrapbook paper and I just aged it just a little bit on the edges, and I really like how that came out. And I backed it up with a paper doily, and I have some hand stitching right there. Okay, and this right here is basically my inspiration for the journals. I was first inspired by, I started with the wallpaper, and so I made the covers, and then I looked at the colors and I thought, well, blue and white and creams, they all were so, they just reminded me of kind of peace. And so I decided to use the Serenity poem, because that kind of, I guess this was my inspiration, how it kind of got started. So my inspiration was also the Serenity poem. So I decided to add it in here, and I have a doily that just kind of folds open and closed. There's a little bird right there. I have some hand stitching, and there's just layers here, and then this lifts up and it says at the cross, and I have some lace sewed on here. Let's see if we can get a closer look. And so there's just some journaling space right here. And then it just kind of tucks in there. And this is blue hand-dyed paper. And then here at the top, I have a pocket. And I have this little note card, and it says Peace with God. And it has the bird, a little bit of lace, and it opens up and you can actually journal a prayer in there or a verse. And this it has been hand dyed, and it's a very, very pale shade of blue. And then I have a little bit of a vintage part of a Bible, and it says Good News for a Troubled World. And I like it. Now, I have my own Bibles. I don't tear up my own Bibles, but I do have a couple from thrift stores that I picked up, especially for junk journaling. And those, I do like to use the verses and the pages in my journals. And here's some note paper. And again, some of that pretty wallpaper. And here I have a vintage envelope. Okay, and here I have another hand-dyed paper, and then some more wallpaper. And this is kind of a mauve color, and there's a little bit of blue in there too, and it kind of gives it a really cool look. Okay, here I have this little cluster, and basically I have a tutorial on how to make this on my YouTube account. So basically this is an old letter, and it opens up and you have room for journaling space, and then I have this little bow tied on there, and then there's a little bit of fabric, and this is a Tim Holtz die cut. And then this opens up, and you can actually add your own ephemera, your own letters. It's like a little secret pocket, and I think that is so cute. And it can clip on here, or if you wanted to, you can actually glue it down. You can glue the flap down, and it just opens up. So I kind of left that there, so you can decide how you want to use it. Okay, and here I have this. This is actually a digital from my Etsy shop, and I just had it printed. I did a little bit of distressing on the side, and I have a, let's see, I have a paper doily on there. I have some vintage papers and some scrapbook paper on the back there, and I kind of antiqued it a little bit. I distressed it a little bit, and I glued it down, and there's a little bit, I added some stitching on there too. I added this little piece of paper here so you can do some journaling, and underneath you have some, I think this is like a receipt or something, some vintage receipt, and I love the natural yellowing of the paper. I think it's so pretty. Okay, and here I have a little bit of that dictionary paper. Use that as a text. It's a little bit of a text spot right there. And then here I have again one of my digitals. It's a black and white digital, and I basically again printed on some scrapbook paper, and I just antiqued the edges a little bit, and I have some paper doily underneath, and I did a little bit of stitching right there. Okay, and then this here is another vintage letter, and then this is actually a print. I printed it on cardstock, and I wanted to give it an antique look. So I did a little bit of distressing with ink, and I glued down here some lace, and I found this blue silk sari, and I just cut a strip and wove it through the lace there. And then this, my husband and I used to do photography years and years ago, and I had a couple of these frames that I bought from one of those shops for basically photography supplies. And so what I did was I just glued some vellum on the back of it, and I thought it was a really nice addition. I also coffee dyed it, so it has a little bit of yellowing on there, and I thought it would look good in this journal, so I just included it in here. Okay, and here I did a little bit of collaging, and I also left a little bit of space open because I thought that would look really pretty with some journaling. And you can also go in and add labels or add stickers and add more collage, or you can leave it as it is. I just kind of left that option open. And this is a tag from my Serenity digitals, and it's in my Etsy shop, and I backed it up with some scrapbook paper. And I actually love using my black and white digitals because I can use them in black and white just like that, which I think is so pretty in this theme for these journals. But I also like to use them with coffee dyed paper, tea dyed paper, avocado dyed paper, any type of paper, or even scrapbook paper or other digitals that have a neutral layout or colors would look really good with this. So I think that my black and white digitals are so versatile. I really enjoy using them. Okay, so here I have a pocket, and I used a little bit of wallpaper, and there's some paper doily there. And then I have these tags, and it says perfect peace, and then there's a lot of journaling space in the back. And then here's a tag I made, and I just added this little piece of lace on there, and I thought that looked really pretty. And so these kind of tuck in here, and you can also tuck in any other ephemera you wanted to into the. Okay, this is again one of my digitals, and this is printed on hand dyed paper. So I have some blue, and I also have some antiquing going on there. I have some, and I also have some coffee dyed colors in there. And so I think this will be really pretty with journaling on here. Okay, and then this page, I added some fabric tape. I thought that would be a nice touch right there, and plus it kind of reinforces the spine because paper doilies are pretty fragile. And so here is the pocket, and I have this woven fabric that I actually sewed on here, and I thought it would make such a pretty pocket. And I had a little, I tore a strip of fabric and I wove it through to make a little bit of a, to make a ruffle kind of right there. And then I have a seal. Let's see if you can get an up close look. Oops. Okay, and so inside opens up, I have a journaling card, got a vintage envelope with this vintage note paper, and I have this is also vintage, and I love that it has the blue, and it's a little bit like a creamy white. It's not quite really yellowed, it's just kind of a creamy white, and I thought it worked so well with it. So this is just a vintage letter. So I folded it over and I stapled this piece of paper in there for journaling space, and then I have wallpaper at the top. So and let me see, and then the inside again is hand stitched. I really like that. Let's see if you can see it. Okay, so I have all this hand stitching on there. I really like that detail. I think it looks so pretty. And so this is the Mercy Journal. And I hope you guys enjoy my videos and find them inspiring. Okay, let's see. And so I hope you guys enjoy these videos, and I am going to attempt to list the journals on Etsy this weekend. I hate to make promises because sometimes things don't always work like I planned them to. So I am going to try to get all the videos up and going and just have everything ready. And then I guess I'll just give updates on Instagram. So that is my Mercy Journal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys liked it, please hit the like button. If you guys would like to see more, please subscribe. I also have another journal coming. I have another one that I have to do a video on. So please subscribe if you want to see the next one.